Hello, welcome everyone. This is our new podcast, Kill the Mood. I'm Amy Gray.
And I'm Tanisha Francis.
We are doing everything spooky dooky. We're doing true crime, bit of serial killers, bit of murders, mostly murders, I guess, but maybe a little bit of superstitions, spooky, ghosty things on the side.
Okay, we're really bolting up the stable here, one of the most violent serial killers to come out of the UK. I'd also like to add, we are not professionals.
Absolutely not.
Just two ladies who apparently like the sound of their own voices enough to record them and believe that you will too.
We are not solving crimes.
Yeah, by no means. We mean no offence. And like a huge percentage of the world, we just find this unfathomable and are trying in our own little way to make sense of the senseless.
Yeah, we like some spooky things, we do.
So, without further ado, this week's subject is the Yorkshire Ripper.
The Yorkshire Ripper. I don't actually know a massive amount about the Yorkshire Ripper, which is crazy because it's quite a massive deal.
I actually do think that it's like one of those crimes, isn't it? That even though it's so massive and so horrendous, and he probably is classified as one of the bigger serial killers, I didn't know a lot of detail. And actually, the very interesting part of the story is how much the police fucked this investigation.
I don't know that much about him. I know his name. I know that he had quite a few victims. 13, did you say?
Yeah.
And it was in the late 70s that all this was kicking off. Is that correct?
Let's get started. Let's go straight into it. We're actually going to start on the 30th of October, 1975. It was 7:41 a.m. and the police are called to Prince Philip playing fields in Leeds, where a body was found. And this would be the first woman that was officially attributed to the Ripper before anyone knew what the next 5 years would bring. The body found is that of Wilma McCann. She was 28 years old and found only 150 yards away from her house, where she had 4 children who were sleeping.
Yeah, that's very sad.
She was found lying on her back. She'd been struck twice in the head. Also, just to preface this, it's brutal. The things that he did to these women were brutal. So, trigger warnings everywhere.
Yeah, this is not going to be a light-hearted time.
If you are a bit squeamish, probably best that you skip ahead.
The way that we are also going to do this is Tanisha's just going to tell me. So I'm going along it with you guys, I guess, because, yeah, we pick things that sometimes I feel like there'll be something that we both know about for sure.
Yeah.
That would be inevitable.
The way we wanted to frame it is that one person tells a story every week and it's a surprise for the other person, so you get to learn it along with us. Obviously, everyone knows about the Yorkshire Ripper, but I do feel that a lot of the time people don't know details. I'm educating Amy today.
Yes, I'm very excited and scared, and it's going to be great fun.
So, she was found lying on her back. She'd been struck twice in the head, her trousers pulled down, and her top open, exposing her. She had been stabbed multiple times. According to one source, though, she wasn't killed in like a frenzy. It was very clear that whoever had done this to her was like stepping back and admiring what he'd done and then going back to her and stabbing her some more.
I feel like for someone that is, who knows, but someone that's very slowly dying, that is such a horrible thing to have to see in your last moment.
You're hoping that actually she was gone quite quickly and maybe
exactly.
she had no sort of memory of what was happening, because that is genuinely a horrific thought. And the way they talked about her early on was that they were talking about and focusing very much on the fact that she had been participating in sex work for the months or years like leading up to her death.
Yeah, did he focus on sex workers mainly?
So the narrative, we'll talk about it throughout the whole thing, but the sort of narrative throughout this was that he hated sex workers. He had passionate hate for them, and that's what drove him, and that's the reason he did what he did, which, as we'll talk about later, becomes quite a dangerous storyline as the years go on. It meant that there was like very little sympathy for her from the police and the media.
Yeah, which tends to be the case a lot of the time with sex workers, especially in the 70s. I feel like the police were just like...
They talk about it like the less dead, don't they? Like, actually, they're seen as lesser than, so their deaths don't mean as much to people, which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like an insane story.
Shouldn't really be a policeman if that's how you view things. But
Yeah,
okay.
like maybe, I don't know, become a baker. You don't need to be in the police.
We do not need your opinions.
If you don't value anybody's life, stay away from the police.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, that does not seem to be the...
No, yeah, this is going to be a running thing, I feel.
General vibe. She was painted as quite an irresponsible person who dabbled in sex work. But actually, the reality was that the year before she was killed, she'd actually dared to leave her abusive alcoholic husband and was left alone with 4 children. And she
I'm smelling
was
suspects.
yeah, imagine. They're like, okay, I want to do ex-husband.
Yeah.
But the reality is I don't even think they cared about really investigating
Yeah.
it. So I think it was just pushed aside and it was like, yeah, that's horrific. And it was reported about, but it was a bit like, who really cares?
Her 4 children. I don't know.
Yeah, the ones that were literally asleep next to where it happened.
Yeah, very sad.
So I just made a couple notes that basically the area that's happened, Chapeltown in Leeds, was a predominantly Afro-Caribbean community. So the tensions were quite high between the community and police, as you can imagine, as they still are in general. I wonder why. But it meant that very little information was given by the community about things that people had seen. Okay, so now we're going to skip ahead to January 1976. Another woman's body is found at the rear of a bakery in Chapeltown. This victim's name was Emily Jackson. She was 41 years old. She'd been murdered in an identical manner to Wilmer, so hit over the head, stabbed and mutilated.
Yeah.
He, in this crime, decided that what he was going to do was position her with her legs splayed, facing the entrance of the yard where he'd taken her into, so that whoever walked through that door would see her parts exposed.
Yeah.
And it would have been reported that she too was in sex work trade, and she was actually doing it because she was trying to avoid her family falling into bankruptcy. So her husband had fallen on hard times. She did what she had to do.
Yeah.
And really strangely as well, her son had to identify her, which I don't get because she did have a husband.
Yeah, and why was he not stepping up there?
Yeah.
How old was the son? Still,
I
savage
don't
thing
know.
to do anyway.
But like in the documentary, I actually watched quite a few documentaries, and her son is in every single one, and he is horrified. That man has seen some shit.
Yeah.
Also, she was stabbed 52 times.
Oh my God, who's even got the arm strength for this malarkey? Like, just
Not
give
to
it a
be grotesque,
rest.
but so much energy that
Yeah,
takes.
literally.
And general fucking hatred. Another genuinely horrific fact about the stabbing. And it's not that it's any worse, it's just the imagery is worse. With Wilmer, he used a knife. With Emily Jackson, he used a screwdriver, which makes me want to cry and hurts my torso.
Do we know if these items are like gone with him? Or
Yeah,
he's leaving stuff behind?
you find out later that he had a bit of a, not kill kit, because it wasn't that sophisticated, but he just had the tools with him in his car and just carried
Like
them around
rolling them
at
out,
all
like-
points, yeah. And obviously, it goes without saying, he was a big fucking loser. Like,
Yeah.
an absolute loser.
Yeah.
And the way that I read his statement from beginning to end when he was finally caught, and the way that he speaks about these women and the way that he blames them.
Yeah.
And the way that he really latches on to the police's sort of storyline of I hated sex workers. There's even clips of women in the media that literally being like, do you not think it's a dangerous thing to say that he only hates sex workers? Like,
So he
do
just
you not
hates
think he's
women?
just trying to get any
Yeah,
vulnerable
yeah,
woman?
for sure. Because I feel like it started with sex workers, and then
Yes.
I assume the cockier he got, because I guess if the police are disregarding it, if it's a sex worker, then, you know, if that's, you're less likely to have anything found out.
Do you not think as well that it's like slightly to do with a thrill?
Yeah.
So maybe at first it was like, okay, ease of access for sex workers.
Yeah. People
But-
are more likely to then speak to you if you're waiting somewhere in your car and various things like that. Also, I'd just like to say he has a very square head.
And he looks like he's painted on his hair and his beard.
Yeah, he literally does.
Literally.
Like, sucks to be you, mate.
Again, fucking loser.
Yeah, we hate you.
Not to be dramatic, but fuck off and die. Okay, so yeah, and another horrific fact of what happened to Emily Jackson is that he actually found a piece of wood that was 2 or 3 feet long near her body where he had attacked her, and he assaulted her with it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and he also decided if all of that wasn't enough, that he was going to stamp on her hard enough to leave a boot print in her thigh.
Totally unrelated, but I went to a women's football training once, ages and ages ago, and I watched one of the girls step on another girl's arm with studs.
Oh,
It was
my
horrible.
God,
And
that
it
is
left,
horrific.
yeah, and it left a little, I don't know how many studs are on a stud, but 6 or 8 like little circle bruise marks in her arm.
Yeah.
And that was just like, they were
That was
fighting.
absolutely
it was, yeah,
bad.
it was
Yeah.
terrifying. They were like raging, but that wasn't even like an intentional stomp. So like to leave a boot mark, yeah, horrible,
that's
horrible times.
fucking sinister. And it was actually the forensic pathologist who had looked at Wilma's body and her body who said, there's obviously a
Correlation
link
here, yeah.
This is a man, one singular man doing this kind of shit.
Which also, like, the way that they handled the first one, I wouldn't even be surprised if they hadn't picked up on that by now.
So this is when the police are saying to the public, oh, don't worry too much. He obviously clearly hates sex workers.
Yeah.
As long as you're not a sex worker.
Yeah. Fear not,
Yeah.
unless you do a bit of sex work on the side.
Unless you do some sex work.
Yes.
And then you probably should be scared. But also, we don't care enough to do anything
Yeah,
about that.
which is crazy because then it's the assumption that sex workers aren't people, don't have children, don't have lives.
People who would miss them or care about them. And also, the reality is, like, even if you don't have anybody in your life and nobody cares about you, that sounds brutal, but nobody cares about you and nobody cares about where you are, you're still a person.
Yeah.
You have every right to life as anybody else. This sort of idea that there's an ideal of woman that's not good enough. It is, yeah, I'd love to say that times have changed, but it doesn't really feel like that.
No.
So, after Emily Jackson, in April 1977, Irene Richardson was found. She was 28. She was found by a dog walker. And again, just like the other two murders, she had been hit and then mutilated. This time with a Stanley knife. I don't know how this man seems to be getting more and more horrific.
Yeah.
But
Is a Stanley knife one of the ones where you like lift up the side
Yeah.
and then it... Okay.
Yeah,
gross.
yeah. And like, I don't know why. I know it's a blade and I know it's like a knife or something, but it just never really feels like you could do much harm with one.
No.
So the idea that he did murder this lady with a Stanley knife is...
Yeah. Also, like, just every single time choosing something different, it's like, that's the sadistic part of it, is that he's not even just being like, oh, I'll just take my trusty knife and see if I fancy it. That's planned. That's mixing it up every single time. That's trying new things.
He's figuring out what he likes.
Yeah,
which
it is not okay.
Yeah, which, like, I don't know, get a hobby.
Yeah,
I
honestly.
hear crocheting's nice.
Yeah. Make some blankets. Yeah. Become a baker with the police.
Oh, okay. So with the Irene Richardson murder as well, this is when they realised that he likes, given the choice, he likes to spend a little bit of time at the scene. So he'd like spent time rearranging her boots and her clothes, and potentially he'd put the contents of her bag on the floor, but he'd not thrown it out. He'd like placed it all.
Is he a Virgo? I'm joking, you're an asshole. Yeah, I feel like it's like spending as much time as possible, being very careful, being very... Yeah.
And like you will see in a bit that he does actually quite enjoy like going back to the scene if he can. So this man is just all kinds of fucked up. So that's unsurprising. Probably the least weird thing he's done.
Yeah. It's actually quite tidy.
Yeah.
That's all
like,
there is to it.
He's cleaned up after himself. Well done. Yeah, so Irene too was reported to be involved in sex work, like the first two victims, and then this became the Ripper's MO, so hitting them over the head, stabbing, and then mutilating. And because of this, that is where the Yorkshire Ripper came from, because obviously the sex worker killer, Jack the Ripper, in the 1800s had been exactly the same. I don't know whether he hit people over the head, but he definitely liked to mutilate.
Yeah. There is a running theme with these serial killers.
I think I was listening to All Killer No Filler, and they were talking about Jack the Ripper, and their theory was that he like gave up after the last lady, Mary something.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. That's really bad. I'll figure it out later. After the last victim, he had literally completed his checklist.
Yeah.
Done everything he wanted to do to a human body, so he just gave up.
Just stopped.
Because, like, she was so horribly mutilated in her bedroom.
It's being like, oh, okay, now my little book is complete. Everything that I wanted to achieve is complete. And all of these people that are collateral damage in my milestones. But also, if that's everything terrible that you can do to a person and you've exceeded everything, then... yeah, what more can you do? You just keep killing until you get caught. There's always that thing of, will you get caught? And I guess if not...
then I guess pop off, queen.
But then also, it's like, I don't understand though, like, that people then would have the ability to just stop doing it. Because it's then, if you have that ability to be like, oh, I'm done now, why would you do it in the first place?
Like you're full. but
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
rest of your life.
Or maybe you're like, I don't really like when people have been like been made to play piano their entire life, and then they're like, actually,
Sick of it. I'm sick of it. Oh my god, there's too much blood.
yeah. It's actually making me feel a bit uncomfortable
Yeah,
now.
it is kind of mad. Like,
Yeah,
and
I might take up baking.
Maybe we should just call this episode baking. Like,
The Yorkshire
really
pudding.
mislead some people. The Yorkshire pudding. Okay, one thing at the Irene Richardson scene was that there were tire marks. So this was, other than the boot print, is probably one of the most traceable things they've had in the Ripper investigation, because he was quite good at leaving literally no trace evidence at the scene. There was nothing to tie back to him. But obviously now there were tire marks, which is, I'm assuming, far easier to trace than a boot mark,
Yeah.
because serial numbers and I don't know. But
Also-
then that's assuming that he didn't change his tires or his car.
Yeah, and if you're a complete loser and you have nothing else to do at all and you're not leaving any evidence at the scene, then there's potential that you're also thinking of the after scene and like changing and getting rid and laying low and all of these things.
We'll talk about it in a bit, but oh my god, is that he's actually like actively thinking about ways that he could get caught the entire time and going out of his way to try and correct things that he knows could be traced back to him. So actually, it wouldn't be surprising to assume that he would
that
change
he's
his car,
covering
change his tires.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also at this sort of time, police officers had started, because they'd actually started to take it seriously, which is crazy. It's only
Finally.
taken 3 dead women.
Yeah.
And they're taking it seriously to some degree. So they're like going to the red light districts and they're like taking number plates and like taking names and of people who frequented it, but that's all they're doing. Really.
Yeah, it's also difficult because I feel like if you're looking for suspicious activity in places like the red light district, everything's a little bit of a
not all
suspicious.
sus?
Yeah, because people are trying to be massively discreet. Some people may be married. Some people like to just have their private life. Some people are into some things that they'd rather not be discussing. So if you're trying to locate some suspicious activity, like, you're going to have a field day.
Now we are again in April 1977, because apparently he could not wait. And this time we're in Bradford. So the first 3 were in Leeds, and now we're in Bradford.
Where is Bradford? Close to Leeds?
Close to Leeds.
I
Not
guess.
far.
Not
I
far?
think it's like something like 10 miles.
Okay, from like Penryn to Truro.
Yeah, I guess so.
Short, brisk drive just to
Yeah,
mix it
yeah.
up a little bit. That's fine.
So not too far, but still not the same region. Maybe it's a different school catchment area or something.
Okay, fair enough.
And so this victim's name was Patricia Atkinson, and she was 32 years old. She was found in her house, and obviously all the rest of them were outside.
He's getting infiltrating now.
Yeah, I think there was a certain level of fear around it, because actually they were like, oh, he was like not scary enough for her to let him into her house.
Yeah.
She was a known sex worker, so that is where she was known to do business. But obviously she would have been at street smart, and she would have had her wits about her, and
Yeah.
she would have probably decided whether she felt comfortable enough with someone to let them in her house or not.
I feel like a lot of people as well that are in sex work, they have someone else, like an ally, a friend of theirs, that they are constantly letting them know if they're meeting a new client,
Like
if
there
they're
are versions of like safety protocols.
Yeah,
How
because you do find it a lot of the cases where there'll be another sex worker that will give a statement that's like, she always told me where she was going and who she was meeting and stuff like that. If she trusts this person enough to have them over, feels like then there's an even bigger fear, because it's not some threatening person that you need to watch out for. It could just be your plumber.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And there's an ideal of a serial killer is a monster.
Yeah, and that you
how
can.
could she let a monster into her home? Like, it's one thing him running after you and hitting you on the back of the head with a hammer on the street or in a park.
Yeah.
But like, you let him into your house.
Yeah.
Like that then feels really scary, because he's someone that can appear normal enough.
Yeah, for sure. Trusting.
So, yeah. Again, hit her over the head. Again, trigger warning.
Yeah.
Trigger warning. So the hammer that he used, this time, his stabbing implement was the claw side.
Oh my god.
Yes. And a knife, but the claw side.
The nail outside.
Yeah, the
oh
bit
my
where you pull the
god,
nails
that's what
out.
I know it as. Pull the nail out of the wall of the
We
hammer.
know DIY.
We can DIY. I have held a hammer before. The nail
The
side.
nail side. Yes, and he pierced her stomach with it.
My
And Also, one horrible part of his statement is when he left her, she was still making gurgling noises.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I assume she's going to die regardless, and that doesn't necessarily mean that she's got anything left in her. But surely you would make sure the job was done.
Oh, no, he is so brazen in his statement, and he literally says, I was confident she was going to die, or at least be in no state to identify me. Yeah, and you're like, okay, you are a brutal bastard.
Yeah,
like,
a cocky
you
prick.
knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
And he obviously didn't feel too badly about it. So, obviously, there's this storyline around women. If you're a sex worker, you should not feel safe. But if you're not a sex worker, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Until the next one.
Yeah.
Which is Jane McDonald. She was 16. And it was the 26th of June, 1977 in Leeds. So back where the first 3 victims were. At 9:45 in the morning, 2 children going to the park discovered her body.
God.
I cannot imagine
No.
the kind of therapy that you need to get
Yeah.
after that.
Especially on the way to the park. Like, that's probably going to be an absolutely great day for you.
Yeah, I
if
just
you're
want to
heading
go
off.
on the slides.
Yeah, literally.
I just wanted to have a swing, man. She was not a sex worker, and she was quite literally in the paper described as his first innocent victim, which is disgusting.
Sake.
And I don't really know how they got away with that, but they did, and that is the way they framed it. It was also, there was like a whole statement. I think one of the main policemen like wrote a letter to the Ripper in the media after he killed Jane McDonald. And he literally said, you must feel some remorse when you realised that she wasn't a sex worker.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it was implied that he would wake up the next morning and feel quite bad because he actually just thought he was ridding the world of sex workers. And that's understandable. But now you've killed an innocent 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is when the media actually took the Ripper killing seriously because 16-year-old was dead and realised, maybe he's not doing his due diligence to find out that these are sex workers. Maybe we should care.
Yeah. Maybe it's like anybody else's problem now as opposed to just a specific network of people.
Yeah.
Like, now it's like people with power and class and
people
status.
We care about.
Yeah.
Oh, now we care.
Yeah. There's a lot more criminals in this.
But there also was a little bit of blame that was like, she was like mistaken for a sex worker because she was walking home at night in the red light district by herself. It's an easy mistake to make. And you're like, okay, insane.
It's also a pretty off a whim thing to do if you're just specifically, I guess maybe not, he is just branching out now to anyone and everyone, but you'd think that they'd think this planning serial killer wouldn't be so easy to make, like, this mistake of just picking up someone that they thought was a sex worker.
So it kind of implies that he's got any real rhyme and reason, which you might think
Yeah.
if he really had a vendetta. But his sort of reasoning for thinking that she was a sex worker was because she was out late at night, walking by herself, and he swears she stopped on a corner to talk to some other sex workers.
Okay. Wait, who said this?
This is what he said in his statement.
In his statement?
Yeah.
Okay.
About her. Yeah, so they actually started to take it seriously and feel like it was a real issue and an actual threat to women, which I don't understand, because if you've seen, even if your mindset is they're lesser women, blah, 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 he literally mutilated her.
Yeah.
There's still an animal on.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not even fair. He's not an animal because animals don't do stuff like that.
Yep.
How are you not concerned that someone like that is on the loose?
Yeah, that there is a psychopath on the loose, because it's like, it doesn't matter who he's choosing. He could be doing it to literally anyone.
Yeah.
It's going to happen again because it's happened
52 times with a screwdriver.
Yeah, and the fact that the periods of time are getting shorter as well, that is dangerous. Can you guys step up? Like, why is it just, now that she's not a sex worker and she was probably going to get a job elsewhere, we need to start worrying about it now.
Yeah.
No, you should have been worrying about it from the first victim straight away. But the fact that now it is a serial killer and it has been for a long time, that's where, I can't be bothered with the police, honestly.
Actually, you're going to feel that so many times in that story.
Yeah, but throughout the podcast, I feel.
Literally throughout this whole time. Every story I'm sure we'll talk about. So, in July 1977, in Bradford, so he's gone back to Bradford now, Maureen Long was attacked and struck and stabbed.
Yeah.
The same MO, but she survived. So this is the first known survivor as the Ripper And they were like, the police were like, we've got him now. We're going to know exactly who he is. We're going to know his face.
Yeah.
Except Maureen Long had no memory of her attack. Couldn't tell you who attacked her. And quite terrifyingly, in his statement, once he was caught, I'm very aware that we haven't said his name yet, and that is slightly intentional. We're building suspense. So you know exactly who this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. In his statement, he quite literally says, I was at a shopping centre with my wife. Oh, yes, he was married.
Ew, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was married. I was at a shopping centre with my wife and I saw Maureen Long and she looked at me dead in the eye and he was like, and I really thought that was it. I've been caught.
Oh.
And this was a few weeks before he was actually caught.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was like, that's it. I've been caught. And he was like, but she didn't recognise
you. Oh, the power he must have felt as
Yeah.
well, being like, oh, you've looked right into my eyes and you still don't recognise me, when actually you just fucked her up so bad that she can't remember anything. Oh, such a
I
piece
was
of
like,
shit.
can you imagine being Maureen Long and then reading that in a statement, not
Yeah.
having known that, but
Also-
you looked directly at him.
Yeah, and also because it was probably nothing to you, you can't, not all the time will you be like, oh yeah, I remember that encounter with that person. You probably don't even think back, oh my God, that was that person that I felt uneasy looking at. It genuinely could have just been no one to her.
Yeah.
Like, even after she found out. That is horrifying.
Yeah, is it not?
Oh, that is so scary.
Yeah, like actually terrifying. Then we jump to October 1st, 1977. Jean Jordan was the next victim. She was found 9 days after she was reported missing. And she was a known sex worker and she was found in a place where known sex workers took punters. But she was found in Manchester.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that is significantly far away from
Yes.
Leeds. And I read some stuff that was essentially like with the opening of the motorways in the 70s, that sort of opened up what serial killers would do, like transport cross country, how quickly you could get there
Yeah.
and where you could go. And yeah, so that is something that they think contributed to this. Yeah, so she was found in Manchester.
It's a great way to throw people off the scent as well, I feel, if you're like, could have been in Manchester this whole time, but I've just been trekking to Leeds whenever I want to. It
Yeah.
like really widens where
Yeah.
everything you've been looking for is, oh, actually, this could just be someone from anywhere that's just
Literally anywhere.
tactically coming over here all the time to make us think
Yeah.
that they're from a certain
And
place.
he was smart enough to, but as I said earlier, he was like trying to throw them off the scent by moving around. He was smart enough to know that I can't just hunt Leeds,
Yeah,
red light
specifically,
district.
yeah.
I have to move around and hope that they don't catch me. So he like would go back to Bradford and then Manchester, and then later on there's a crime in Huddersfield. Like he literally went all over.
Yeah.
And there's loads of unattributed crimes as well that they think could be the Yorkshire Ripper. About 20
Yeah.
that fit the MO, and they're all over the country. Some of them are in the same days as some of the murders that are attributed to him.
Oh my gosh.
She was actually really horribly mutilated. Like,
Jesus.
and essentially, what became quite apparent was that he had returned to the scene days later, and they felt that he was looking for something.
Right,
That
okay.
he returned because he was looking for something, and when he couldn't find that thing, he had gotten really angry and disemboweled her, and kicked her body and done all of this awful stuff to her, and that's why she was so horribly mutilated. And actually, what happened was they found her bag, and then when they found her bag in a small like pocket that was hidden, they found a brand new minted £5 note. And obviously, this £5 note had literally been minted days before her murder,
Interesting.
which meant with the serial numbers and stuff, because it hadn't existed for very long,
Yeah,
it
you
was
can
far easier to
track, yeah.
So they used the £5 note to track the bank that it came from,
Yeah.
and then where it went to, which was an employer, which later would turn out the killer was employed at.
Wow.
They still didn't find it.
Yeah, of course.
It wasn't the £5 note that found him.
Must be a coincidence.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Like the amount of times this man was interviewed
Yeah.
throughout the investigation.
As if time is not of the essence.
Yeah.
Like,
The tyre mark inquiry, if they'd continued to look into that, and if it had been well managed, they would have realised he was on that list, the £5 note list. He'd been interviewed so many times. I think it was something like 9 times throughout the investigation, but always by different police.
smugness as well that he probably felt from that. Oh, I hate him.
Yeah, he must have been fucking loving it.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
absolutely loving it. And around this time, in November 1977, what the Yorkshire Ripper investigation actually also set off was the Reclaim the Night protests. Women protested at night across the country
Yeah.
about the lack of, the sort of messaging was that women basically should have a curfew.
Yeah.
They shouldn't go out at night. They shouldn't be alone. They shouldn't go early in the morning. They shouldn't go drinking.
Yeah, as if that is where the blame lies,
Yeah.
is on women just being out and about.
Yeah.
It's, oh, you need to rein that in then, instead of us doing what we're supposed
Like,
to do and finding the
Put the
killer.
curfew on the men.
Yeah, yeah,
They're the problem.
Yeah.
Tell them they need to stay indoors at night.
yeah. Female-only events is the only time that I feel safe running around
Literally.
freely anyway.
And we are no longer in the 70s. But
Yeah.
It doesn't. That is still the sort of the line that you get for everything. Even when, do you remember Sarah Everard?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, that we will probably do Sarah Everard at
Yes.
some point, but she was killed by a fucking police officer.
Yeah.
And she was just walking, and she thought that she was safe and that she was in safe. Honestly,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is a crime for another time.
Yeah, but it's clearly women's fault.
Yeah.
Rein them in,
Yeah,
get
yeah.
them in before the
Stay
watershed.
indoors.
Yeah.
Stop being such a slut.
Yeah, literally.
Going outside.
Put your trousers on and get in bed.
Yeah.
Do not open your windows.
Yeah. Just don't be around.
Cannot win.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame. That's obviously then that's going to start a movement where people are like, absolutely fucking not. You should be protecting us, not restraining us. We're not the problem here.
Stop telling us it's our fault.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, that is just something that was really, I thought, important to know. That was actually direct correlation. Obviously, it's always been a conversation, and there's been a conversation since and before that, but due to everything that was going on with the way the police handled the investigation for the Ripper, that is something that was a direct response. So, the month after Reclaim the Night, so great, December 1977, Marilyn Moore was attacked, and she was actually attacked 200 yards from where Wilma McCann, the first victim,
Wow,
was
right
murdered.
back, throwback.
Yeah, so he really did like to return, which is insane.
I feel like as well now, horrifyingly, if you feel like you've got experience in this thing and the first murder was, you're probably like, oh, I liked that scenery and I'm back to try and also just to rub it into people's faces of being like,
you
look
can't
how
catch
far
me.
how far I've come and that you still haven't
Yeah.
managed to even get a scent of who I am.
However, unlike Wilma, she survived.
Oh, drama
And
queen.
Marilyn Moore gives us the best composite sketch of the Ripper throughout the entire investigation.
Did she give him a square head?
She did, and it was good.
Yeah, good square.
Very long face.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe
very-
rectangular
very
then,
good.
I
She did
correct.
she got the little drawn-on beard and the stupid
Yeah.
hair. quite
Okay,
well.
good for her.
She did a great job. And actually, they spend this entire time talking about how they finally had a good composite. That the reality is that before Wilma McCann, there's, I think it's something like 4 or 5 women who were attacked, who all survived, who once Wilma McCann was killed, attributed it to the Ripper, that this was the same man,
Yeah.
same MO, all hit in the head with hammers,
Yeah.
and interrupted basically for all of them, which is why they weren't dead. And the police were like, you're not sex workers, could possibly be you. And actually, if they'd listened to that, then maybe this whole storyline about women being safe if you weren't a sex worker wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Because the reality wasn't true.
Yeah, it wasn't true. It wasn't true right off the start.
Yeah.
And also, he probably did target a sex worker first because they didn't have as much of a support network, maybe. And also the fact that he probably knew that he could get away with it
Yeah.
because exactly what happened and no one did anything about it.
Also, with the killer, there's also like a story of him, I think before any of the assaults happened or any murders, but it was like maybe like a year before the first assault, that is now definitely attributed to him. He like was in a car with a friend and was like, oh, I need to get this sex worker, she owes me money or something, or she like ripped me off. And then he's like driving around with his friend trying to find her, and he just finds her, gets out the car, and he has a sock full of like rocks or bricks or whatever, and he just bashes her over the head and then runs away and back into the car with his mate.
Wouldn't you like I love you, but if there was something like that going on and I was like, oh my God, this one time I watched Tanisha do something very similar to a very specific.
She likes to bash people in the head. At least maybe bring it up to the police or somebody else.
I'd throw you under the bus so fast
Yeah.
if I knew that you wouldn't be dropping me off so that I could just go and bash someone in the head with a sock of rocks. But no.
Literally lock the car and be like, "You're not getting back in. I just watched what you did."
What did he say when he got back in the car?
Yeah.
Oh, cheers, mate. Can you just drop me off at
Drop me
home
off
now?
at the gym.
Yeah, drive through real quick.
Kind of insane.
Yeah, that people just wouldn't think that was. It's a different time. I don't know how often. I don't know. Like, you'd think that was something that someone would come up and say something about straight away, let alone after all of these murders. But okay.
Yeah. Maybe divulge it.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're not sure, just talk to somebody else.
Yeah. Be like,
see what they think.
Can I just pick your brains? Like, do you think this is a red flag? We were driving around and like he just had this sock of rocks.
Firstly, you let him into your car with the sock of rocks.
Yes.
And he was like, "Drive me around and help you find this sex worker." And you were like, "Yeah, sure thing, buddy.
Yeah.
No problem. No questions here."
Yeah.
And,
Also, was he like married at this point? What is going on?
I don't know. And like, okay, I want to find her because she ripped me off. Yeah, sick. What are you going to do when you find her?
Yeah. Honestly, not a civilized conversation, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. After Marilyn Moore, the Great Composite Sketch, they were like, "Yeah, we're going to catch him because we've got his face now." Obviously, they did not.
Yes, but they also not. Oh my God, that looks like the guy that 9 of us have interviewed.
Yeah. Oh, I recognise that guy. I've actually spoke to him about the £5 note. Oh, I spoke to him about the tyres. Yeah. I mean, to be fair to them, it's lots of. I'm guessing it's lots
different
of
departments.
police stations because it's different places.
Across, yeah.
But still, I would hope that you had at least 1 or 2 conversations about the sketch.
Yeah. Also, if that sketch maybe is going out in
To
the
the
news,
public.
yeah, like
Yeah.
on newspapers and such. Yeah. Anyway,
I saw this one thing that was like the killer's brother, and he was like, someone said to him like, "Oh, when you saw the sketch, did you not think like the rule for a lot of brother?" And he was like, "Yeah, but I just thought, nah, couldn't possibly be." Oh, sick. Yeah.
oh, that would be if I was younger and running around back in like the 70s, and I thought that a police sketch was one of my siblings,
Yeah.
I would be all over that. I'd literally be like, haha, don't
I
you think
have
this looks so much like you?
Inherent graph. There is nothing. If I think you've committed a crime,
Yeah.
especially a murder, I like, even if it was just like someone with curly hair, I'd be like, I think it's Amy. I think it's her. She's got curly hair. Do you want me to send you a photo?
Yeah.
I can't. No, I don't know.
You're trying to like sneakily get my alibi. I just think you're trying to
Where
be.
were you on the yeah.
But yeah, if it was my sibling, I'd be like, oh my God, guys, don't you think that looks so much like my sibling? Everybody look at this.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly people are just glazing over facts. And it's an actual serial killer that has killed many a people at this point.
Yeah. And he lives in the area. That's also another massive red flag. Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they didn't catch him, obviously, because I said 30. We're here for a little bit. It's February 1978, and Helen Ripker is found in Huddersfield. She is 18 years old. She's found in a timber yard. So in this bit, I wrote, yet again, no DNA or trace evidence found at the scene. However, I wrote this before I read his statement. And in his statement, he freely admits that he'd taken him to the timber yard because she was a known sex worker. They'd agreed a price, taken him to the timber yard. She, in the front seat, had started to take off her trousers, like, immediately, because they were going to maybe do it in the car. And that had got him excited. So he got out of the car and said, I need to pee. Let's do it in the back in a minute. And she started to get into the back of the car. And he decided to hit her over the head. So he hit her and dragged her out of the car. After he'd hit her, he decided, no, I will have sex with her. So he did. So I don't really know where I got that from. And I don't understand how there's no trace evidence. But he as far as we know, she is literally the only victim that he did actually rape.
Wow.
And she was still alive. He'd hit her, but she was dazed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he did his thing, the stabbing and the mutilation.
What did he stab with this time, do we know?
This time, I believe it was just a knife.
No.
Just a knife,
Yeah.
which is a mad thing to say.
Yeah,
This is the point
literally.
we've gotten to. Because at this point, I would be expecting it to be
Something
I don't know,
absolutely
like,
unhinged, yeah. That's fair.
anything he found at the scene, really. Yeah, they did like a whole police campaign with her twin sister.
Oh,
who was also
God.
out working that night, and They tried to humanize her so that people would care and like maybe people would come forward because it's quite a busy junction that she was on. So they were like, someone must have seen something, and that did not work.
Yeah.
So then they tried £30,000 reward. That also did not work.
£30,000 as well is like a lot now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'd grass you up for 10.
That is fair enough.
Yeah, like, I meant £10.
Ouch.
I think there were people calling in with tips and stuff, but it didn't bring any useful information.
To be honest as well, if you're now being like, oh, even though I didn't think that you were actually a human earlier, if any sex workers could trust the police in coming forward and telling us anything about anything, you're going to be like, absolutely not.
No,
like,
I know I did say that you weren't important earlier,
Yeah.
and that I didn't care if you died, but I would like you to trust me now.
I would like you to put all of your faith in me and come forward, and I will not disregard you in the slightest. And then people may catch wind that you've spoken to us, and then you're not safe because we aren't protecting you.
We've been buddies this entire time. Do you not remember that?
Yeah, now that we need something.
And I literally wrote here in one of the docs that I watched, one policeman particularly pissed me off because he was saying like, I went to the sex workers and I said, why are you doing this? Just stop. It's wrong. And I was like, what?
And that's all they needed.
Yeah.
And then next,
Like, oh my God, epiphany. I actually just think that I'm going to go and get a job instead. Oh, are you actually that fucking vapid?
Yeah,
Like,
honestly.
yeah. Anyway, so I was reeling after that comment.
Yeah, I would be. I am.
So next, 21st of Jan 1978, Yvonne Pearson. Now I know that I just said Jan, and obviously Helen Ripper was February, but her body was not found until 2 months later. So despite the fact she was killed before, she was found after.
Yeah.
One really disturbing fact about the fact that she was found after is because she was there for 2 months, underneath her armpit was a newspaper that was dated a month after she was murdered, meaning he'd gone back to the scene.
Oh, no.
And apparently he vehemently denied going back.
No one else is going to come across a body and tuck a newspaper under there.
And also, it's the fact that it's exactly a month to the day that she was murdered.
Yeah.
Who else would know
And
that?
also, he's obviously leaving that there so that people are spinning out and being confused. No one else is going to not report a body and then leave their newspaper at the scene of the crime. Like, he's obviously doing that, and then is that to try and throw people off the scent, or is it just because he's just having...
I feel like it's part of his sort of line that comes across that I'm not that bad, I just want to get rid of all sex workers.
Yeah.
It feels calculating for you to go back and to put that underneath her arm, and like you're taunting the police.
Yeah,
So
by being like, look at how long it took you. All of the evidence and anything that's left behind is all going to be gone now.
Yeah.
This is what's happening when you take too long.
Yeah.
And even I've been back there in that time that it's taken anyone to note it, and just added my own little piece of fuck you to the material. It's just another gameplay.
So
and
the
then
story
denying it
feels
as well is just for an extra bit of superstition to the whole
Yeah.
thing. Like people being like, oh, what a conspiracy. Did he, didn't he? Like, who was that? Was there someone?
Yeah.
It's just all like mind
it adds
games,
to the
isn't
lore.
it? Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It really does. And to be this, and not mysterious because we know who you fucking are, but like to be, they keep some stuff for themselves, some general enjoyment that they had.
Yeah.
There's certain crimes that all of them won't talk about or won't admit to.
Yeah. But it is interesting that he says that he didn't go back, because I feel like he loves to be like, in the statement, he's...
Oh yeah, when he was caught, he literally was like, yeah, I did it all. Actually, I did what you think, and I am who you think I am, and here's all my crimes.
Yeah, but then it's... But I didn't put that newspaper there.
Yeah, but I didn't put the newspaper there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Yeah.
God, I'm not a madman.
Yeah. I hate the news.
I actually don't even read the Daily Mirror. So after Yvonne Pearson, it wasn't until May 1978 when the next victim was found, and her name was Vera Millward. She was 41 and found on hospital grounds. Wow. So very public place.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was done on purpose
Yeah.
as well.
Another...
Like, really wanted her to be found.
Yeah. Maybe because the last one has been like, oh, look, I can do all different age ranges, like women from all different walks of life. I can do people with kids, people without kids, people that work here, people that work there. Then it's like, also, I can do people that don't get found for 2 months, and I can also do them in plain sight. Like, there's nothing, like, he's trying to be flexible, and that adds to the torment. But yeah, keeping the police spiraling out of control also seems to be a running theme here.
Also, at this sort of time, I'm not really sure on the timeline of this, and I should have researched it, but I forgot to. Yeah. So
What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Okay, we're
right?
giving you all of this information.
Sue me. Yeah, you can Google it if you like. Letters had been arriving to the lead investigator, I believe, that was supposedly from the killer,
Yeah.
and they were signed off as Jack the Ripper. They had managed to get some DNA off the letters, so they thought that this was going to be
You'll sign off as Jack the Ripper.
signed off as Jack the Ripper. Yeah. Not even the Ripper, and they'd already called him the Yorkshire Ripper,
Yeah.
but he decided that he was called Jack the Ripper.
Okay, cool.
So the letters were arriving, there was multiple. And then after the letters comes a tape.
Okay.
So a tape of the voice of the supposed killer, basically referring to himself as Jack the Ripper and taunting about the crimes that he committed. And the police were like, we've got his face. We've got his voice.
Yeah.
We've got his shoe sign.
Yeah.
We've got his tire mark.
We've got his handwriting.
All we need now is to someone to walk up to the door and confess, because that's the only way we're going to find the killer. Yeah, they were certain that this person was the Ripper.
Yeah.
And one very important point about this tape was the voice on it was Geordie.
Yeah, this is one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Him trying to be Jack the Ripper.
What? Yeah. Not like, I'm from London town.
Yeah.
Courtney Geezer. I killed all those women. So he was Geordie, and this obviously then led their entire investigation. So they were like, if he's not Geordie, don't worry about him. We've heard his voice. We've got the voice of the killer. Don't even consider it.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, he's not Geordie.
No.
This was just some right fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Who apparently had been in the library reading about Jack the Ripper and had decided that he wanted to insert himself in the investigation.
Yep.
And there were people in the police force who really doubted the fact that these letters were from the right person, because I believe that some of the letters came actually before Yvonne Pearson was found, and they never mentioned another body. And they were like, if he had another body in the bag,
Yeah.
pardon the pun, and he didn't mention it,
Yeah.
like, it was quite clear that most of what he was saying was coming out of the newspapers. They wasted a lot of their time and a lot of their energy on that.
Yeah, they
And that's-
probably were just like, we need a win here. This seems like a perfect part to the story.
Yeah. And that I think that's part of the reason that they
Latched onto.
also had interviewed him so many times but
Yeah.
haven't actually decided it was him.
Yeah.
So that's all the context around what's happening at the time. So this is actually quite a long amount of time, and I believe in this sort of time they called it his hiatus, but it wasn't really a hiatus. In this time, I think he attacked quite a few women. They just survived.
Yeah.
I think there's something like 7 survivors attributed that are definitely him.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, sort of 20 other cases that did not survive, to be clear, because that's not necessarily the ones that did, that have also got his MO attached to it, just something slightly different, so they decided it wasn't him. So, April 1979 in Halifax, Josephine Whitaker was 19, and she was attacked and killed in a really prominent area. So really nice area, found in a really nice park, and everyone was like, this doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
She's a respectable woman. Again.
Yeah.
So they cared. They really cared and she was young as well.
Yeah. Young, in a wealthy area. Yeah. He
Once.
really is. Yeah. He really is. Yeah.
Which makes you feel like he really is taking risks.
Yeah.
Now.
He's fearless now at this point, though. He's running circles around the police,
Yeah.
everything.
And
He's just
also-
like, watch me get even more scandalous every single time. Because also, hate to admit it, but the more wealthy the area, the more prim and proper. And she was always the lead baker at the bake sale. Once these things start happening, it really can be anywhere at any time and with anyone watching.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
Yeah.
I hate to admit it, but
And they,
he's getting very brave.
God knows how many times he's been interviewed at this point specifically. I bet he feels invincible.
Yeah.
He's like, I can take anyone down.
Hopping and skipping out of the police station,
Yeah.
ready to do another murder.
Yeah, got them on speed dial, like having a little chin wag with them. How's
I would
the
feel,
investigation go?
honestly, it would just ruin your life, wouldn't it, knowing that you'd been sat in the same room as someone and not picked up on anything. I know that it's not going to be so obvious in someone's face, but like when there are things here and there that have made it that he's on their radar for a reason. And like, you would know that he's walked away from you and you were like, yeah, interview terminated. He is fine.
Yeah.
That man is fine.
No red flags there.
Yeah.
No issue. I think, if anything, you should have noticed that his beard was a problem, and that meant he was probably a creep.
Yeah.
But I'm no detective. I don't know how I
Arrest him now.
At this point, the police finally started saying, okay, other women are at risk. We have just noticed that it might not just be sex workers. However, it's only because we are trawling red light districts and he's probably scared. So he's just going for vulnerable women.
So
he is still a sex worker killer.
He still hates specifically sex workers, but he needs to keep on top of this, and he can't let his talents go to waste.
Man's got urges. God.
Yeah, he needs to be practicing continuously.
God forbid he fucking falls into them.
Literally. When are they going to notice?
Yeah, literally. So they then, around the same time, they released the tapes saying this is the voice of the Yorkshire Ripper. And I think that's actually what his brother said, actually, is that I didn't think it was him. I didn't think it could possibly be him. But also, we were told he was a Geordie. So I just assumed he looked a bit like my brother, but Geordie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'd released that to the public, and they spent £1 million pushing the letters and the tape to make people believe he was Geordie.
Wow.
And some of the women that had come forward and said, no, I'm pretty sure I was attacked by the Ripper, were like, no, he's not Geordie. He's from Yorkshire. But they didn't listen, and they didn't want to listen.
Yeah, they just spent way too much time pursuing something that was a waste of time.
Yeah. So in September 1979, Barbara Leach is found in Bradford. She was a student, but had left to walk on her own. And this was a turning point for places like universities, who actually decided that they were going to start doing like buddy systems and putting taxis on for groups of women to try and keep them as safe as possible. Yeah, he just really starts to hunt around universities and stuff.
Okay.
After this, there's Maureen Leah, who is a student who survives but is attacked. And actually the doctor said to her, like, I think you've got some injuries to that of a Ripper victim. And she was like, no, I couldn't possibly have been attacked by the Ripper. And then as soon as it's caught, she's like, no, that was the man who did that to me.
My God, that's so horrifying.
She didn't really realise that until after she was attacked.
There's also probably like an element of survivor's guilt of that, being like, I don't want to not claim, because it's not like it's like clout or anything, but just being like, couldn't tell you that it was because you don't know who he is. So, and I got away, so why did I get away? These things that are just like, you just don't, you feel almost maybe like it's not fair to be like, yeah, that was definitely, you just think that can't possibly be what's happened to all of those. It
feels a little bit like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't possibly have been a victim of the Ripper. That's insane.
Yeah, and you don't want to run around being like, yeah, I was, because it's like, how do you know? But just so sad, and then having to find out that you were, and that what happened to you was horrible, but it also could have resulted in all of these things that have happened to other women. Like, what a horrifying thing to have to come to the realization of.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I'm not sure that is an easy thing to digest.
No.
Even if you know it for a fact.
Yeah.
Even if you've seen his face, I don't know that is something that you'd be willing to admit to yourself, which is fair. And also, in one of the documentaries I watched with Maureen Lee, or Leah, I'm not sure how to say it, she literally said the idea of being attacked by someone who was associated as a sex worker killer, that came with its own shame, because she didn't want that portrayal of her, so she found it really hard to admit that to herself,
especially because she knows that if she had have died, they would have said that she wasn't a real person, that it would have been disregarded per se. At this point, if it's that they're looking for a serial killer, then maybe not so much, but having to sit there and ponder on the fact that if this was earlier on, or if something even worse, more tragic had happened to her, would it have just been like, oh, knew it, straight back to the sex worker? Like,
also,
you know,
a level of speculation around your extracurricular activities that will come with general public opinion. Like, there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, you being out there with people just there to judge you.
Yeah.
inherently.
And
because
being a young girl at university, that's probably just too scary to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
Or to think about.
It's very sad.
So actually, on the 20th of August 1980, Marguerite Walls was found, 47 years old. She actually was not attributed to the Ripper up until after his capture because, cheeky little shit, had changed his MO because he knew that the fucking heat was on.
Yeah.
And he was worried that they'd figure him out. So he thought maybe if I do some other murders in a little bit of a different fashion,
Yeah.
they won't suspect these ones as me.
Yeah.
And they'll think I'm still in my hiatus,
Yeah.
which they said that he was. Yeah, he actually attacked her with a length of rope and then said afterwards, oh no, that was horrible for me. Didn't enjoy it. I actually decided that I wasn't going to do that again. I'm just going to go back to the old way.
Yeah. No way like the highway. What is that? No road like the high road. I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, what is it?
My way or the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice to know he's trying
Sport
to dabble
is
in
fun.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Decided
Absolute
that
wanker.
wasn't for him, went back to his usual fashion, which is then when he attacked Maureen Lear, I believe, after that, but I'm not certain because, again, I didn't do my research very well. Yeah, so now we're on to the Ripper's final known victim. Very important to say known because, again, there are plenty of people out there that could be attributed to the Ripper. And actually, they just never got a confession out of him, but it feels like there are some out there that are probably his. It was November 1980. Jacqueline Hill, she was another university student. Now, speaking of police incompetence, her handbag was found with some blood on it. So somebody called the police to the scene. Handbag there. Great. I think it was at night, so maybe. It might have been dark. They looked at it, they said, crazily, and they went. They left. And I think it was the next morning she was found 60 yards away from where the bag was found.
Goodness.
So I don't even think they had a real look around.
No.
They were like, handbag, blood on it. Could be anything.
And they knew that it had blood on it.
Yeah.
They saw the blood. It wasn't that afterwards. Oh,
No.
goodness.
Yeah, with some blood on it.
Either way,
That's
like,
what-
have a look around.
That's what drew the person that found the handbag to call the police.
I see,
is that
yeah.
there was blood on it. And yeah, she was 60 yards away.
Wow.
So yeah, she was the final victim, killed with the same minute, hit over the head, stabbed, mutilated. And as we talked about earlier, despite all this, Wilma McCann was not the first victim. There were survivors. There were potentially other people that were killed. There's a documentary that is, I can't remember what it's called, might have to find it a little bit later, but there is a whole documentary that is about potential victims.
Non-recorded, victims.
Non-attributed. And the
Yes.
sort of timeline of when they were attacked based on the sort of murders and also, very importantly, his hiatus.
Yeah. How he's getting from place to place, like
Yeah.
what links,
A
what
man
doesn't
that likes
link.
to kill, what was it, something like 4 or 5 women in one year, does not just go, yeah, I'm going to slow down.
Yeah, for sure. Like, some of them are like so close together, like returning to the scenes of the crimes and stuff. Like, he is busy every single evening. Okay,
Yeah.
there is no way that what is recorded when there's so many others that were never pinned to anyone, and that he's there's probably all of those are probably linked to him in some way.
Yeah.
It's very
So
sad.
in January of 1981, Sheffield officers in the red light district saw a car, checked the plates, and they didn't match the car. So they were like, oh, something's off in a woman, man in the car.
Okay.
So they stopped the car, arrested the woman and the man in the car. And when they arrested them, the man said, oh, can I just go for a quick wee? And the police were like, yeah, babe. You go.
Honestly!
You go, girl.
Go piss girl. This is going to take a while, Queen. You
Yeah.
do you. Just
We've
go have
got
a quick
some reports
piss.
to write up, so
Because you never know when the next chance you're going to get will be. My mother's favourite quote. That's absolutely terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just being like, yeah, just you go.
Yeah.
It's okay, we'll be here. We'll start getting some deets. Yeah.
We'll hold her. She can have a drink of water. And they're like, no, fuck you.
Yeah,
You're
literally.
A sex worker.
Yeah,
You
literally.
get no rights.
Sorry, did someone say something?
Yeah. This is a man and he needs to pee.
Yeah.
And he's got to do it in private 'cause he can't get his little willy out.
Literally how it went down, 100%. They probably shook his hand and was like, have a great piss, my
Yeah,
friend.
yeah. We've only got to take you in because it's just procedure. But we'll let you go immediately.
Yeah. We're not insulting your manlyhood, don't
Yeah,
worry.
yeah.
We don't believe you've done anything
We
wrong.
won't tell
It's
you
probably her.
Yeah. So anyway, they take him in, they arrest him, whatever. And then one of the policemen that decided to let him go off and pee said, you know what, probably shouldn't have done that. I've got a sneaky suspicion that he might not be a good guy. And actually, we've got the whole Ripper investigation going on, so maybe I should go back and have a little route around where I let him go and pee.
Potentially the first time someone's done something
Smart.
semi-smart in this whole scenario.
One smart man in this entire case.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes back. And he obviously didn't believe his conviction very well because he didn't get a team or anything. He just went back on his own and thought, I'm going to do it on my own time.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he did.
Yeah,
I am
same,
glad that
same.
he did.
But no congratulations here,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Just basic
Maybe
police
just
work.
Like, don't let that man go and piss on his own.
Yeah.
How about that? Would have got there a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they go back and where he went to pee, they find a hammer and a knife.
Wow.
Quite clearly, this person was going to kill this woman. She was about to be the 14th victim of the Ripper. And yeah, then it gets worse because the police, through a very gleeful press conference, announcing that they have caught the Yorkshire Ripper, which obviously set people off a little bit. That was like, are you fucking kidding? Why are you so happy?
Yeah,
It's
literally.
taken you 5 years
Yeah.
and 30 women are dead.
Yeah, you've literally, so many lives
Yeah.
have been altered and affected and ruined because of your incompetence.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, congrats everyone. Hard work complete.
Well,
Because
you know what? The worst thing is, at like part of the press conference, they get the 2 police officers who found him to come to talk to the press. And they're like, how do you feel? How did you catch the Ripper?
Yeah, I
And
think
one of
I
them
know
goes,
about this.
It's just good old coppering.
good old coppering.
Yeah. Are you fucking kidding? Dumbass luck is what that is.
Honestly, think about them like all having a well-deserved
Yeah.
whiskey and cigar after all their hard work of it being
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
finally, chaps.
Oh, they're all sat round, they're smiling, they're laughing. And it's like literally 13 women are dead.
Yeah.
7 attacked that you know of.
Yeah.
And you're all having a little fucking giggle
Yeah.
laugh.
Fear
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Ruin everywhere. And they're all like, ha!
Yeah.
Score.
And also, I think in the press conference as well, someone says, is he a Geordie? And they're like, I haven't heard him speak yet. Don't worry about that. Let's not talk about that bit. Let's leave it out. We spent £1 million trying to find a Geordie.
I know we made a massive deal out of the fact that he's Geordie and let people go and didn't believe loads of women.
Yeah.
But I think we should just glaze over that real quick
Yeah.
because we found him. The point is we found
We've
him.
got him. Good old choppering.
Copperin 101.
So it is announced that Peter Williams Sutcliffe, married man, 35, lorry driver. And he actually chose to give a voluntary statement. And in that statement, he just fucking admitted to everything.
Yeah, it goes in hard.
And he really speaks about it, matter of fact. If you've got the stomach for it, I would say have a read of his statement because he is an absolute and complete wanker. Unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting him to be an intellectual. One thing I was going to say is that when it was announced, so there's this police officer who's in fucking every documentary about Sutcliffe. He is really getting his payday. He says he heard that Peter Sutcliffe was...
Sorry, I was just thinking about him like releasing a book being like, my climb from coppering to success. Like coppering? What's going on?
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so he was saying, he said, someone came and said to him, oh, Yorkshire Ripper's been caught. And then he was like, who is it? And then they were like, it's a 31-year-old man, Peter Sutcliffe, not 31, 35, lied, Peter Sutcliffe. And he was like, my stomach dropped. And he went back to an old notepad that he had. And he was one of the police officers that had interviewed Peter Sutcliffe. And in that,
Why are you bragging?
to be fair, again, maybe one of the only smart men in this whole story, in his little notebook, he interviewed him, and I think it was the £5 note inquiry that he'd got. Yes, I think it was. He'd spoken to him, and Sutcliffe had a good story, and I think his wife had given him an alibi, and he said he was at a party, whatever. It's like a whole thing. But what actually he wrote down is basically he said, I'm not happy with this. I think we need to look at this guy. Then he'd gone to his superiors, the people running the case, and he'd said, I've spoken to this guy. I think we need to follow up. I'm not happy. And he is an absolute dead ringer for the Marilyn Moore. Is it Marilyn Moore? Yeah, the Marilyn Moore.
Yeah, the sketch.
And he was like, and then they said, is he Geordie? And he said, no, he's from Bradford. And then they went, if I have to hear any more about this.
God.
Yeah, literally. And then
the amount of serendipity in this absolute
yeah.
hooligan wild case of people just not doing what they should be doing. Like, just follow through.
Fucking hypocrisy of it, right?
Yeah, literally. Geordie obsession as well. Like, it just goes on for so long.
Yeah. It's literally ridiculous. The Geordie thing is the reason that probably 3 or 4 women are dead.
Yeah.
Because if you hadn't had that line of inquiry and listened to that police officer when they said about the £5 note thing,
yeah,
then actually
also,
you would have caught him after Jean Jordan in Manchester.
Yeah. And you would think that if that comes in around the time, you would think that maybe the serial killer was getting too confident or maybe getting a little bit bored with his victims and stuff. And that's why he would have sent in a tape and stuff. But you can't just rule everything else out. Yeah. That's not how it works. Yes, take things seriously. But why are you latching on to this thing so hard, but then disregarding other things? Like,
don't want to be an absolute knobhead. But what if he was just incredibly good at accents?
Have
you ever thought about that?
Do you want to hear mine?
Do it.
What is the thing that Scotty T says? Chloe is pure, unreal ice skating. I might whack me chopper in the freezer and she can do some fucking pirouettes on it. See? It's not that hard, all right?
Who says us British are uncultured?
Exactly. Like, we've all watched Geordie Shore. Like, granted, that wasn't around in the 70s.
The greatest Scotty T impression I've ever heard in my entire life. Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Amy could be the Yorkshire Ripper.
Exactly. I could have. Also, this is just pure proof that men cannot multitask. Because, like, you can have multiple leads.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to just latch onto this one fact that everyone's absolutely... They probably just didn't want him to be from Bradford.
I actually think as well that they had overwhelmed themselves. Apparently they didn't have like real systems for the way that they were cataloguing evidence and leads, and actually someone would go and interview someone and then they wouldn't even have a record of it really, and it was like a whole fucking hodgepodge of shit. But the reality is if they'd followed through more with the £5 note inquiry, if they then looked at that alongside the tyre marks inquiry, they would have found him. It was on all the lists.
Yeah.
It was right underneath their noses.
Yeah.
It's very easy to say in retrospect, and we spent a lot of time shitting on the police, and I would not want to do their job. But I didn't sign up to be part of the police, and that's why. So,
yeah. I feel like also when you look about cases like this, that it's like so many lives lost, so many people affected by it, and then there's things that are just floating around. It's just impossible to not be pissed.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I'm not a detective, like I can't, and we've got all the information here, so it's fair enough for us to be like, look at how obvious it is. And it was in the 70s where there wasn't as much, it wasn't as easy to gather evidence and stuff, but there are obvious things being missed all the time, and there's leads that aren't being followed, and the fact that there's people releasing things like, what was it about the lady that wasn't a sex worker? What did they say? The first
about
normal victim.
Oh, the first innocent.
The first innocent victim. Yeah, like the first innocent victim.
So they talk about Wilma McCann, and I think it's Irene Richardson as well. I think it's Irene Richardson and Wilma McCann. There is literally no proof that either of them were sex workers.
Yeah,
like it's an assumption about the lifestyle, and it's partly based on Peter Sutcliffe's statement. But fuck that man and fuck what he says. There's no, I think Irene Richardson, they'd said like she'd had some difficulties in the last 10 days before her death, and like she'd been maybe kicked out of a flat or something, and they thought that she'd turned to sex work in hard times, but she had no convictions. There was no proof that she was a sex worker. Wilma McCann, they made horrible comments about the state of her house and that she neglected her children.
So that must mean... So that must mean...
Yeah, so it must mean that she's a sex worker.
Yeah.
Because she liked to go out drinking.
Yeah.
Because she had a party girl lifestyle. And actually, if they hadn't jumped to those conclusions in the beginning, they wouldn't have... It was built off William McCann that he loved to kill sex workers.
Yeah.
Like, if they hadn't jumped to that conclusion, then this sort of storyline that then made it quite unsafe for women for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Gave women a false sense of security.
Yeah. Also, the fact that then they based all of this information on not only the serial killer himself, but also just a man's version of events.
Yeah.
Like, why
Yeah,
after
like,
all this?
why would he lie?
Yeah.
What on earth could he gain from lying to us?
Yeah, we caught him from
Yeah.
good old coppering, and
yeah.
now he's telling us everything we need to know.
Yeah.
So here's all the facts from the man himself.
We're pals. We're best pals,
Yeah.
actually. He wouldn't lie to my face.
I held his willy when he went for a piss outside his car. I chucked the hammer and he chucked the knife. Good old coppering.
Just a little bit about him. He was born in Bingley. He was described as quiet and unassuming man. He had grown up with a father who abused his mother very in front of the kids. As a child, it was said that he sided with his mother, but as he got older, that sort of changed and he became quite violent himself. Some people say, and it's not a fucking excuse, and also get over yourself, some say that this is maybe because Sutcliffe's mother at some point had an affair and his father found out and decided to confront her, except he also decided, like at a hotel, he also decided to bring Peter with him. And they believe that this sort of
exposure to
created a sense of distrust.
And like hatred towards women because, you know.
And skewed his perceptions. But get a grip.
Honestly.
Literally get a grip.
There's a lot of other ways that you can deal with trauma like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's just ridiculous. And also in his trial, as they always do, they tried to go down the insanity route. So he actually said that he'd been a grave digger for a little bit because I think he'd done every job under the fucking sun. And he said that when he was digging graves, he heard voices and they told him to kill sex workers. And that's why he was doing what he was doing. And he couldn't help himself. So he went for the insanity plea, but in May 1981, the verdict was announced and it was guilty on 13 counts of murder. However, so he went to prison. Don't know at what point it was decided that he wasn't mentally well, but maybe a little bit down the line. Don't know how long he'd been in prison.
Do we know what age he was when he went to prison?
I think he was 35.
Okay.
He was 35 when he was caught.
Yeah.
He convinced them that he, I think, was schizophrenic, or at least mentally ill, whatever. And he got sent to Broadmoor instead, which is obviously the high... It's the maximum security
prison.
Like, it's a hospital. So he got far more freedoms.
Yeah, for sure.
He was actually in there at the same time as Ronnie Craig.
Yes.
And my uncle. Not actually an uncle, just a very close member of the family, but he was not a well man.
This is where Tanisha gets all of her insider information from.
This is why I'm so fascinated. Never met the man, just like to say. He did babysit my mum quite a lot, though. Yeah, that is the story of Peter Sutcliffe. I wrote here, I read his entire statement, and I think he's a fucking wet flannel.
Yeah. You can't gloat the way that you gloat in a confession and be like, I did this and this and this and this, and then on trial be like, but it was the voices in my head that made me do it. Let me free.
He also played into every preconceived notion that the sort of police had put out there in the media. I think he tried to frame it so that he didn't look as bad.
Yes.
In whatever possible capacity he could think of to do that. Yeah.
Also, on a slightly better note, he died in prison, didn't he?
He did.
Yes.
He did actually die, I think in 2020,
Yeah.
of COVID.
Yeah.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious. Weird that it's so, like, recent.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
strange.
So strange. But
he
yeah, I did
die
know
in
that.
prison, of COVID. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from the Yorkshire Ripper case is how incompetent police were.
Yeah.
The entire investigation. I know they did try their best, and you do have to give it to them. But I do feel that maybe if they just let one or two more women in the room, there would have been some sanity about.
Yeah, they disregarded too many things. They latched onto too many other things, didn't follow leads, and then way over dramatically followed other leads. As we say, we aren't detectives, but I think we'd probably have a lot more to say than half of the people that...
We do them girls justice.
Yeah. Our mood boards... Not
mood boards.
Our mood boards would be all over this.
Our mood boards would have caught him in 20 minutes.
Our crime boards, we'd have like little drawing pins everywhere. Like, we would have connected the dots.
Yeah, we would have had that fucking red thread out.
Yeah, we would have found the link,
And we would
I
have said,
feel,
look at
a
this
lot
man,
quicker.
why is he in the tyre investigation and the £5 note
Yeah,
investigation?
how have we been interviewing him several times
He's
and he
also got the same
literally,
boots.
yeah, looks exactly like the person that's been posted on every single newspaper for the past 3
That
years.
is something that really baffles me. Like,
Yeah.
he literally, some of the fits, and actually maybe we put up an Instagram for ourselves, so maybe we'll put up the photo fits that was made of him.
Please.
And the Marilyn Moore one specifically, I don't know how you don't.
Yeah,
you didn't
uncanny.
see that man and thought, yeah, that's fucking
Yeah,
him.
that's one rectangular head.
Yeah. That is one.
Not that
fucking
many people
painted on ass beard.
have rectangular heads and painted on beards.
Yeah. Or maybe they did in the 70s. Don't know. It wasn't that.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
So my sort of sources that I use for this, I think I should just shout out, just so I'm not ripping anyone off. I watched Crimes That Shook Britain. Watched the Ripper documentary on Netflix. I also watched bits of some others. I actually can't remember the names, so I will get back to you on that one. I used bits of I looked at the statement on yorkshireRipper.co.uk. I used the Standard. I might put all of this in as notes or our podcast notes maybe, so you can just have a look around if you want to. And yeah, I think I'll do that instead. I don't need to shout them all out.
No, yeah,
That's really
fair enough.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it, even though it was morbid as fuck.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that this is something that people enjoy and that you want to listen to. Sorry if it's ridiculously long. We're new to this. Sorry if the audio is absolutely shit, because we've put some money into it, but nothing crazy yet. And we're just hoping that people are interested in things we have to say, and then maybe if they are, eventually we'll get there. So.
Yeah, and follow us on Instagram. Instagram is Kill the Mood Pod. And then if you want us to do anything, you can always message us. And I think we're going to do it. I'll pick someone and then Nish will pick someone and we'll just tell the other person. Yeah, if you just send it to us, then we can pick who wants to do it and do a bit of research and stuff.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. So exciting.
Yes, I'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.